Episode 195. I am your husband. Jake walked back in. Seeing that she was in the room, he sat on the bed, speaking in Italian on the phone. Serena could understand him because she knew a little bit of Italian herself. She pushed the blanket back, looking at him. When he got off the phone, she asked, "Are you going on a business trip?"
"Yes. I think I need to make a trip to Italy."
"When?"
"The day after tomorrow."
He lifted the blanket and pulled her close.
"I'll be right back. It will only take me 3 to 5 days.
"Okay." She was slightly disappointed. "Are you going to Venice?"
"No."
He couldn't help chuckling, squeezing her face.
"I will take you there in the future. This time I have some business to do."
"All right."
"Go to sleep now."
He kissed her lightly on the forehead.
"We will go to see Grandpa tomorrow."
"Okay." Serena put her hands on his waist, looking down. Venice, the romantic city. She had always wanted to go there, but it was a good thing that he would be away. There was something she had wanted to do first, but was very afraid to do it. While he was in Italy, she could go get herself tested for HIV. The lights were turned out. Jake fell asleep quickly. He breathed evenly into her hair. Serena tightened her grip on his hand. He was asleep. For the past few days, he had not touched her. He did not even kiss her often, although she herself had not wanted him to, because she knew that very likely she had AIDS. However, on his part, was he no longer attracted by her? Had he known about the fact that she had been raped? Did he choose not to tell her? Thinking of that, Serena curled herself into a ball and moved away from him. So, he did not touch her because he did not want to, right? Her voice choked, but she gritted her teeth, not making a sound. She reached out to grab her cell phone. As soon as the screen lit up, Jake was aroused from his sleep. He pulled her into his arms and whispered,
"Can't sleep?"
"Yes, I probably have slept too much. You go to bed and I'll look at my phone for a while." Jake was indeed tired out. He had been so busy these days that he could barely catch a break. Hearing her words, he nodded and let go of her.
"Don't stay up too late."
When his arm was pulled away, Serena's heart felt empty. Turning her back toward him, she let her tears fall. "Okay." Her voice was trembling slightly. He did not notice it and turned around, closing his eyes. She bit on her fist, letting her tears run down. Trying not to make a sound, she remained still. When he fell asleep again, she took out her phone and typed in the search engine, AIDS transmission routes. Hundreds of articles popped out, and she chose one of them. Sex, blood, mother to child. Handshaking, touching, and sleeping together would be fine. Kissing and hugging were also fine. There would be some viruses in saliva, sweat, and tears, but transmission was very rare. She felt relaxed seeing these. She continued on to search the early symptoms of AIDS. Some patients' early symptoms were like a cold. Some even showed no symptoms at all and would not be aware that they had AIDS. Then there were those who had symptoms that resembled AIDS but were not positive. She could only be sure after she did the test. Jake woke up again, which startled Serena. She immediately closed the browser and deleted the history before she put the cell phone away. He turned around, gazing at her. In the dark, he looked mysterious. She asked, "What's wrong?" He did not answer, leaned in, put a leg around her as per usual, and closed his eyes. She lay still in his arms and stared at his chest. It took her several hours to fall asleep. When she woke up, Jake was gone. She washed up and walked out, only to find him working in the study. He had been so busy nowadays. Serena was trying not to disturb him and went downstairs for breakfast. There was parking space on campus, but given the fact that most of her schoolmates did not have a car, it would be too flamboyant to drive to school. She took a taxi instead. It was the end of the semester, and the pressure was on. Because Serena had taken sick leave for several days, she had fallen behind and was desperate to catch up. After a whole day of classes, she went to the library to study. Her phone suddenly rang. It was from Jake.
You still have classes?
No, I'm preparing for exams.
I told Grandpa that we would go visit him today.
Serena had completely forgotten about it. Reminded by Jake, she immediately replied yes, put her books into the backpack and ran out. At the gate, she saw the Bugatti surrounded by onlookers. She didn't want to draw attention to herself, but obviously not. Seeing her walking towards the car, many people understood who it was. It turns out to be Mrs. Robinson's car.
I think that's her husband.
The rich simply live in a different world. He switched a Maybach for this car?
Wow. When will I be able to afford this? This costs more than $20 million.
Serena blushed and sat in the co-pilot seat. Jake took her backpack over and felt it was quite heavy. Are you done with work? She asked.
Yes.
He started the car and drove towards the old house.
I asked Jackson to give the longevity peach to Grandpa on his birthday, and told him that you made it.
She looked at him. What did he say?
He was very surprised, and he ate the whole thing.
She chuckled. For real? That was a large longevity peach. Could he finish it on his own? Jake couldn't help curling his lips.
Jackson said that he had never seen an old man with such a good appetite.
Serena laughed. Thinking of Grandpa's affable look, she felt her heart warmed up. In this whole world, before she had Jake, Grandpa had been the only person nice to her. Jake glanced at her through the mirror and found she was still upset, despite her laughter. She had been this way for a couple of days. Seemingly normal, she was obviously burdened with thoughts.
Mrs. Robinson?
Yes?
I'm your husband. You could tell me if there's anything unpleasant. Don't deal with it yourself. It is not good for you.
Okay.
Don't you have anything to share?
Serena was dazed, gazing at him. He had lost some weight recently. His face was even more chiseled. Noticing her gaze, Jake turned to her.